Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Lagavulin Triple Matured, the Friends of Classic Malts of Scotland, Dustin. That's a wordy mouthful, my friend.
All I'm hearing is Lagavulin that wasn't sold to us in America that you had to go source overseas.
4,500 bottles, bottled in 2013. So when I got it, this bottle was 8 years old. And you know, people told me, I looked on Whiskey Base, looked a few places and thought, you know, these didn't have a crazy high rating or nothing that seemed too incredible about it. But you know me, I'm a huge Lagavulin fan. So I came up on a group for about $250. I decided to take a chance. And Dustin, I am glad I did. Let's tell the folks a little bit about it. This Lagavulin Triple Matured, it comes in at 48% ABV. And what it is, this is normal Lagavulin Distillers Edition, from what I've been able to read. So normal Lagavulin 16, and then it went to first or second fill sherry cask for 6 to 9 months.
Usually
like
PX.
Yeah, usually PX, like the normal Distillers Edition would do. And then they went to a third maturation of up to a year in first fill bourbon cask. So it's triple maturation, meaning the normal bourbon cask maturation from Lagavulin, the sherry cask finish that all of the Distillers Edition get, and then a third step back into first fill bourbon for up to a year. So this is probably 17-year-old whiskey.
Could even be getting close to 18.
Close to 18-year-old whiskey, and bottled at 48%. So, you know, Lagavulin is usually core range 43%, other than say the 8-year-old, and then like the 12 yearly release, and then the Face Shield and the Jazz, they're all cask strength.
Yep.
So it's weird to get one at 48%, so it's a little bit different. But Dustin, you and I have both said many times, 48% is just right where an ABV where you know you're getting a strong version of a particular whiskey.
Yeah, it's a perfect ABV, really.
All right, let's get into this. Man, is that pungent.
Yeah.
Pungent.
It's intense. It is, you know, Mike, we occasionally will kind of nose out of the bottle. We get a more muted nose, and there you pick up a lot of the barbecue. When you put this in a Glencairn, man, all you can really get is this intense sweetness.
It is so sweet. You can tell the extra. So I've been drinking this a little while here. It's down to about here. And Dustin, I remember the first time I tried this because I had it sitting there. And I didn't really paying it much mind. It was just I got 3 or 4 whiskeys one time. This happened to be one of them. I put it away. Even had film on the top of it. And I was like, I'm just gonna try it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't have high expectations. And I was blown away. I called you. Remember, I was like, dude, I am trying this Lagavulin triple matured. People didn't say anything positive about this thing. Is like Lagavulin Distilleries Edition on steroids, meaning higher ABV, being 48%. And then he's dumped into first full barrel to round it out even more, which gave it vanilla and mint. So think of a great Distillers Edition with 5 extra percent ABV, 10 extra proof.
Yeah.
Big jump.
It's a big deal.
Then put in a first full bourbon cask at the end just to add a little bit more flavor to it because it took nothing away.
Yeah. And I was telling you earlier, like I almost get, you're gonna have to correct me again, but like the vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, like ice cream, which is
Neapolitan.
Yeah, the Neapolitan. I'm getting like that Neapolitan, the astronaut like ice cream stuff, which Mike apparently has never heard of.
Never heard of that.
So if you ever have had any of that stuff where like it's kind of like it's dried, like I don't know how to describe it. It has a nose that reminds me of that without the chalkiness.
Oh, to me, it is a super intense distillery edition. I remember one of my favorite distillery editions from Lagavulin was the 1995 they bottled in 2013. They bottled one in 2011 from 1995. They also bottled one in 2013 from 1995, an 18-year-old. It reminds me of all the rich, beautiful elements of that with just 5% more ABV, and on top of that mint, and on top of that vanilla. It just explodes out of it.
You know what I'm starting to actually get here, Mike? This is a weird note. Dimetapp with barbecue.
There is such a meaty barbecue note on this.
I like that Dimetapp medicinal, like grapiness. It's not grape, but it's like that intensity. If you've ever smelled that medicine where it's just super intense.
Yeah, you know grape when you smell it.
Yeah, this isn't that, but it's like it's the intensity, the sherry, and then I'm getting like a little bit of smoked barbecue now.
Yeah, just big campfire smoke in this thing. Like the logs are here. Like the logs are starting to, get the coals in them. It's that hot.
I'm getting brisket, man. Like meat.
A little bit of ash.
I get a little ash, yes, but
it's almost like, you ever seen anybody? I haven't known myself. You ever seen anybody grill on charcoal where they remove the cage and just throw steaks directly on the charcoal?
No.
I've seen people do that a few times.
Sounds terrible.
And that's, dude, shockingly, it's good. That smell coming off there that charcoal with contact with meat and ash is right there.
I do get clean charcoal. I get clean charcoal.
Chimney sweep.
Brisket.
I mean, again, that mint is so nice. It is such a nice mint. You know what that mint reminds me of? It reminds me of the mint on the 25-year-old.
I'm glad you keep mentioning mint because I keep missing the mint, and then every time you say it, I go, "Oh, of course that's mint. How am I missing the mint?"
How are you missing that? Is that same mint?
Well,
that's
because
on Lagavulin
I'm
25?
smelling everything else, Mike. I'm picking up.
It's such a good coffee.
I'm picking up those sherry notes. Well, you know what? You just said the word. I just heard coffee. I think you said coffee, but I heard coffee for a second. And you know what?
There's a little bit of coffee bean in
There's
there.
little coffee notes in there too.
Yeah, just again
Oh,
a shocker of a whiskey. Like when you don't expect much out of something, you open up and it's just like, wow.
It's Kona coffee, man. It's not just any coffee. It's Kona, which is not my favorite, but it's a little bit of a more citrusy coffee note.
Buddy, if you know for a while, here comes that umami and peach note that I get from Lagavulin.
It's got a little bit of like a something that would go on a steak note.
It has everything
in a really good way
that you like about the 16 and the 16 Distillers Edition with so much more added to it. Only 4,500 bottles, so I don't mind gloating about it because I rarely see these come
A
up.
little bit of sour fruit on here as well.
But I would absolutely pay another $250 for this bottle again.
It's starting to get a little sour now on here.
I'm going for taste.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit of sourness, a little bit of the oak. Definitely noticing some older oak notes on here for sure, Mike.
You're right about the oak because it's on the palate. On top of that, you really get that last maturation bourbon cask in here. Chewy oak, chewy vanilla oak to go along with huge campfire smoke, peach. I would say, I mean, that dense, oily Lagavulin aristocratic smoke, charcoal, chimney sweep, mint, like the garnishment mint, like, where you can smell it, like on the plate as soon as they put it down in front of you. Man.
Or you made some kind of rum drink, they actually put the actual mint in there and kind of squeezed it.
Yeah, mojito maybe.
Yeah.
A lot going on with this Lagavulin. And I love Lagavulin, and this is just a throwaway Lagavulin, but I am incredibly impressed with this thing.
To me, Mike, I think they had a whiskey that wasn't going to quite work. I think they had some tired casks.
Initially,
and they thought to themselves, you know what?
jazz it up
We
with it.
need something here. And so they did the PX casks, and it still didn't get it there. And they said, you know what? We need some more sweetness. There's a little bit of bitter oak in here, which I'm getting on the palate. And they said, you know what? A first fill bourbon for a year. It'll be perfect for us to then transition to put a 12-year-old, future 12-year-old cask strength in there. And we're going to use that to add some vanilla that's going to sweeten us up. And that's exactly what they did.
Yep. It's definitely a ton of vanilla.
And I think they saved what probably was going to be a little too tannic, a little too bitter kind of a batch of whiskey and added a really nice vanilla. I do still get where I think, there's a little bit of tannicness, there's a little bit of sourness.
No, I'm
Beautiful
not getting the
sweetness.
sourness, but you're right. And now that I'm really digging for it, there is a tannic note to it.
Yeah.
Especially that I add a little bit of water to it.
Yeah, and I got to say the finish on this one is a little thin. And the oiliness is, I would guess this is chill filtered just without knowing for sure, which is weird at 48%. And so if it's not chill filtered, they've done something that's kind of taken away the oiliness and waxiness that you can get on some of these cask strength Lagavulins.
Now, I know what you mean about a little bit of bitterness. I have picked out what you're saying there. However, I do think it's more oily than you give it credit for. It may be chill filtered. It may be. You're right. Because I think maybe Lagavulin chill filters everything other than their cask strength stuff. But I'll say this, man. This to me doesn't have much off-putting notes.
I didn't mean that as an off-putting note, because part of what makes Isla whiskey so great is that they have a little of everything.
Sure.
And they balance, and that it's sweet, it's bitter. And again, we're talking how sweet this damn thing is. It better have a little bit of bitter in there, otherwise it's going to just be over the top.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
And when we say barbecue, I mean, when you have a good barbecue, man, there's a little bit of burn on it, a little bit of char.
Every bite was perfect.
Yeah, not everything's perfect. I know you like to have your ends cut off, but...
Yep. It's like peanut butter and jelly. But yeah, and you're right. There is a lot going on with this, like you said. There's a lot dancing around. I don't know how in harmony it is. I don't know how well all of it works together. Because again, like mint and vanilla and barbecue, they don't necessarily go. Like mint and barbecue really don't go together to me. So it just seems like it's jumping around.
After having some of these Lagavulins, I think they need to start doing minted barbecue, man.
Yeah, this is unique, and it's something that from the first sip I've really enjoyed it. Really, when you came over today, I was like, hey man, before we do anything, I know it's a little strong. Try this Lagavulin. Am I crazy in thinking this thing is a unique Lagavulin experience, but still rich and
Gotten really clean as well on the nose now with water, Mike. Before it was just kind of sweet. Now it's a clean. The mintiness has kind of become more prevalent, more dominant.
Mint makes it smell clean. Mint's a clean smell.
Absolutely.
So is vanilla.
And I've got both on the nose right now. And I'm actually not getting a lot of barbecue or smoke right now. The smoke's there, but it's clean smoke.
Yeah,
Again, it's charcoal.
yeah. Charcoal's cleaner than like charcoal's cleaner than like I would say like campfire.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I would describe it.
Campfire's got dirt and rocks and other stuff thrown in
Yeah,
there,
you're
right?
outside, you got a beer can in there, something like that.
Yeah, somebody's been pouring Everclear in there. Was that just me? Sorry.
All right, Dustin, what do you think about as far as a whiskey score on this one, my friend?
I'm gonna give it one more taste here, Mike. So,
Even with a tad bit of water, it's still not too thin. Now, if you do that to the 16
to me,
Distillers Edition, it's too thin.
see, to me, it's a little too thin
With water? Thinned it out too much?
to start with, even. But water
Really?
definitely, yeah,
48? You think so?
I do.
Lagavulin's at higher ABV. I've always kind of noticed that. You know, we use some of these cast drink ones, like, it kind of felt thin. Even cast drink.
The finish on here just doesn't quite have it for me.
Where you at?
86.
I mean, I was kicking around the same number. I'm going to say 87, but I'm kicking around the same numbers.
Yeah, I didn't want to go that low because the nose initially is beautiful. It's super sweet, super rich. And mind you, I don't consider anything 85 or better in my world is really good whiskey.
Yeah.
To me, this is $150 bottle. I'm buying 3 or 4 of these every year because it's just a beautiful, well done whiskey, but it's not challenging enough in terms of richness, viscosity, and just kind of overall.
I disagree with you on the viscosity. I do think some of the flavors are disjointed, even though there's a lot of them there. I will say this: I was at an 88 until you made a few of the notes that I didn't pick up initially more obvious to me on the nose. And you're right, with water, it didn't do it a ton of favors. Kind of simplified it, some. But I still think for what I found for it, and again, 87. I was close to saying an 88 on this one. I'd buy it again for $250 all day. It's a good, thick, rich lager.
I would do 200 to get one of these to try it, try a full bottle. But I think my rebuy price is probably 150, 175.
Ideally, there's just no Lagavulin that you're going to get that only made 4,500 total bottles at that price.
Well, I'm thinking to myself in my head, they could recreate this. There is nothing about this whiskey. Like when we drink like the 25 year, right? They can't recreate that. Those were epic sherry casks they found. That was great distillate. That was incredible.
This wouldn't be hard to replicate.
This would not be as hard because I don't think there's anything distinctly different about this than a distiller edition, other than
Just that
48%.
Yeah.
And adding a bourbon barrel like Lagavulin. Make more of this, make it a regular release, and jack up the price.
Wait, at this point, what difference does it make? What would you charge for it?
Honestly, you guys could probably get $200 in the States easily for it, and I'd probably buy some.
Yeah, call it a day.
I don't want to say I'd buy it, but I probably would.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you guys would give us anything except Offerman editions here in the States, that'd be really super special, guys.
Yeah, be great. Anyway.
And I like the Offerman, but not. This is better.
Lagavulin still good at a distillery, that's all we get.
Yeah, we get the 12 some years, not every year.
Not every year.
A 16 that is obviously for, really weird in price, but it's a good whiskey. And then they got the Distillers Edition, which, the last time I saw a Distillers Edition, the price was outside of Ohio.
140?
167.
It's a little high.
Lagavulin, guys, get us some of these higher proof things in the States, man. We want them. We're begging you.
No doubt. All right, that's where we're at Whiskey Core. If you had a chance to get your hands on one of these only 4,500 bottles, let us know what you think. And Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
We'll see you then.